Gainz Nation. Holy cow. Hey, I got my coffee. Oh, that was hot as heck. Holy cow. What is going on? Roman's got a fresh haircut. I cut the beard. I think Roman's probably kind of sad. I just started the mustache in November. And then I don't know. We'll see after November, but I shaved everything besides the mustache October 31st. And then yeah, man. What do
I
you
feel
think, Roman?
like
Are you mad about it?
no. It's looking crispy, bro. I think it was like the cold exposure. Um, it was either a reel or IG post. You were looking like real lean, buddy. Like your face was looking like
The
Olympia
cold.
level chiseled.
Oh, are you talking about when I was talking about like when I was like, oh, free cold plunge and if you're in the cold states and I was next to the skeleton? Is that what you're talking about?
I think so, yeah.
I'll have to look back, man. I'm not really that lean. I'm actually 207. So
Yeah,
I'm I'm not like heavy because I didn't want to go anything past 210 for a while. So yeah, so I'm 207. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe I'm just losing face fat.
there we go.
On this episode of Gainz Nation, Gainz Podcast, we're gonna talk about how to lose face fat.
Spot training your face.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first
Fun,
thing you do is get plastic surgery. Um, but
funny
no,
story.
what's up?
Funny story about that. My poor younger brother Mason. That guy is like such a trooper. Him and my stepbrother, we used to just like absolutely terrorize him. I guess it's all part of like the brotherhood of like growing up and whatnot. But at one point, my stepbrother convinced Mason, my younger brother, that if he said vowels and he pronounced vowels in a certain way, that he could like kind of trim up his face. So, like, Mason, like, man, he's such a trooper. I love my bro for this. But he would just go, A-E-I-O-U, because he thought it would, like, kind of, like, trim up his, like, cheekbones. It was so cute and so funny, man. So every once in a while, like, when we're all together, we'll just be like, A-E-I-O-U.
It's like it reminds me of that like jaw exercise ball or whatever where they're like, oh, chew on something and then your chin would be chiseled. Also, I changed the angle, so the angle should make my face look fatter. I think when you put it up lower, it makes it look bigger. But it reminds me, it's like, why would you ever want to chew something for like for like 8 hours out of the day or 5 or 6 hours? Like that just it just reminds me of the days when I was competing for bodybuilding and I was on such a diet restriction where chewing gum was like the biggest like fun of my day when it comes to calorie restriction. And then, like, dude, I could tell you how many headaches I brought to myself by just chewing like, and I'm talking I would chew like maybe 4 or 5 pieces of Trident gum at a time. It was insane. And I'm just like this.
You ever you ever do the big league growing up? Like
Oh
the
yeah, dude.
pocket?
You know what? When I'm at, because usually I get it at like Walgreens, which Walgreens should be nationwide, so that's a pretty easy brand to recognize. And then I'll see it at like the front counter, and sometimes I'm like, ooh, and because that was like when we were kids, like I would just chew on Big League Chew all the time. It's kind of a waste of money if you think about it, though.
I don't know why this made me think of this. Well, I know why, because with Big League Chew, people would also have sunflower seeds. Remember barbecue?
No.
Oh my goodness, I can't think of his name right now. Shout out to this guy who was a partner with Steadfast at the time. But he brought in seeds, and it was like it was
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yep, go ahead.
it was a very fascinating naming convention. But their barbecue was called like Bar
Oh yeah,
B
yeah. Hmm.
Q. Like it was just the naming convention was just like I don't know. Whoever the marketing team was, they're very interesting.
I also was a big proponent of bringing seeds at the office too. Remember, I used to chew on seeds all the time.
As long as it wasn't dip, man. Back in the day, my wife always loves when I say that. She's like, "Oh, like 2010." And I was like, "Actually, yeah." When I was an RA, I like you'd have to do like room checks and whatnot, like wellness check on people. And like, unfortunately, over the years, I had several residents that were like really big into dip. And I had one resident, he filled up an entire wall with like the
The
skull
tin
containers,
cans?
the empty tin skull containers,
Yeah.
and his room just reeked of dip all the time. And like when I finally went in and I like did like a wellness check on him, I was like, bro, you need to do something about this. Like the whole damn floor smells like chewing tobacco.
Yeah,
So
and not to boast or mention that too. I never got into dip because I'd always make me sick. I know it sounds like I'm a weak, pathetic man, but I would only do chewing tobacco in the cheek, which were like it was like big league or not big league, big league mixed with red man chewing. And that was the only kind. It kind of tasted like raisins. I don't promote it. Don't do it anymore. So don't say I did it or do it currently, Gainz Nation. I just was saying I've done it and I've experienced it. So don't want to definitely promote that, right, Roman?
Yeah, I literally did dip once. It was on my 18-year-old birthday. So I had some like buddies that were on my football team come over. We like ate wings and stuff. And then like one of my buddies at the time, Soupy, he was like so funny. He's like, you're packing a lip with us. And I was like, fine, I'm 18, like let's do it.
Yeah.
So we like drive down to one of like the local convenience stores, and he's like, all right, this is what you have to do. You go like this so you can pack it. He's like, then you open it. You gotta be really careful. You gotta pinch it really hard. You kids, don't do it. Like listen to the end. Stick around to the end. So anyways, I put it in, and like it hits like instantly, and I just like fall back like on his car. I'm like, I feel like one with your car now, bro. Like I was being a little dramatic, but
Yeah.
almost like right off the bat, I got sick. So we're like driving back to my house, and I'm like, you gotta pull over. So like he couldn't even pull into my driveway. He like pulled over. I like jump out of his car because he had like a pretty nice Scion at the time, and like I didn't want to mess up his car. I threw up everywhere. It was just like buffalo chicken chunks like all over my neighbor's lawn. It was
That's
so
hilarious.
bad. And then I played drums for like 2 hours, and I still had like a little bit of a buzz. So
Yeah.
don't do chewing tobacco.
Drugs, kids.
Folks.
Okay.
Yeah, don't do drugs, kids.
No, don't do drugs. Okay, you gotta do the okay.
Okay.
I definitely get it. It's like one of those things, and a lot of the kids are they're into like Zyn products like the nicotine like pouches now, which I mean Huberman says some good things actually about it. Obviously not like the ramping up and doing it all the time, and obviously dosing it really high, but like that's why he like promotes alpha GPC or GP1 GPC more than like doing like Zyn instead. So I don't know if you ever looked into that, Roman, but yeah, like we were talking about obviously with like if you need like a little bit laser focus, if you did use some nicotine product, like you could definitely get some like some laser focus in you. That's why a lot of the people are addicted to like the nicotine like product of it and the abilities and capabilities it has, and that's why it's probably harder to quit those things, right? So it's like you get that rush and you're like you're ready to go, right? For me, honestly, just coffee does it. Caffeine. I'm on my second cup today. And it's nice with the cooler weather. And yes, guys, I am outside in Illinois, so no excuses to be outside, right?
Yeah, I think it is. You should like try and get it in as often as you can, especially if you're in like the northern part of the U.S. Like this time of year, it starts to get colder and colder. Still try and get out there early, get those like early sun rays. Obviously, there's some subsets of the population like those that do like night work. It's a little bit trickier for you. So like this, that group unfortunately doesn't apply unless you like are a beast and you work your entire shift and then like you get those like rays in and you have like a shorter circadian rhythm. Like there are some people out there. So there's interesting niche cases. Like my wife is so funny. Like, oh buddy, she'll sleep like legit like an hour. And I'll be like, babe, like, It's probably come back on you. You're probably gonna be like, tired throughout the day. She's like, I'm not gonna be tired. I'll be fine. Like, I'm gonna go through the day, do this, and this, and then like, by the end of the day, like, I'll finish the night with a movie. I'll like be in bed by like 2, and I'll get like a full night's sleep. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know how you do it. But she's is like such a trooper, man. She like just and like you can tell she's exhausted. Like during our wedding week, like her sister, her mom, like I forget who else we had in the car. They're like all passed out, and the only reason why I wasn't passed out was because I was a driver. But, like if I was a passenger, I would have been passed out too. But some people are just like built different, where they they can do that. But most likely that's not you, Gainz Nation. So try and get that like 7 to 9 hours of sleep in on a frequent basis, high quality sleep. But buddy, I don't know about you, but I think we should jump right into the topic today. What do you think?
I'm good with it, buddy. What do we talk about today? You ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
And honestly, when you sent me that topic, like, especially, it's like you hit the nail on the head, man. It's just like pretty much what's going on in my life, and I think it's a good life lesson or feedback for this episode too. So
yeah, absolutely. And like so what we're talking about, Gainz Nation, is disappointment in the gym, disappointment with your health, your fitness. These kind of things happen, letdowns. Yeah. So a little lowdown with what's going on with me recently. I was like killing it. I like created this like amazing program for myself for the next like 3 months, starting like late September, going through to the new year. I built an RPE, which I haven't really been doing, like a lot of stuff in auto regulation. I'm like, boom, I'm gonna be like start RP 7, gonna work up to like RP 9, 10. Like I logged everything in a book again. I was like, boom, 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 PR. Like everything felt good and was moving well. I was like, oh man, like my hip, my groin issue, like it flares up every once in a while, but it's not that bad. Like I'm able to keep it at bay. Like I feel like I'm getting like jacked again, all this stuff, and then boom, dose of reality. I wake up one morning, I'm just like walking around, and I'm just like, oh man, like my groin was like it wasn't bad, but it was like a consistent pain that was just there like frequently, and it definitely like ratcheted it up. It was like somebody took the dial and they went from like 0.5 to 1 to like maybe 2, but like whenever I did anything, it didn't matter what I did, like sit, stand, walk, jog, lift weights, don't lift weights. Like it was just always there. The pain was always there. So I took I like added auto regulation back in. I took a deload a week earlier than I wanted to. Boom, still there, still like freaking hurting and whatnot. And then about maybe like 10, 11, 12 days after it first started to flare up, boom, back to like how it was, like the 0.5, 1, like much more manageable, the pain and whatnot. I could do certain things and like I can make it feel better. Like this is amazing. Yeah. So I walked down the I went to do a that was the first day. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try and ease back in. I have a Spartan race that I'm doing tomorrow. Oh my god, wish me luck. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I was pushing it too hard. Maybe I was saying like RP 7 and maybe I was closer to like RP 9.5. Maybe I like pushed like that for too long, yada yada. So I'm like starting to get in my head, reanalyze things. So I decided I'm just gonna do like a quick workout, some push-ups, not even gonna push to failure. I'm gonna do like a few sets of pull-ups. I'm literally doing 1 pull-up, then 2 pull-ups, then 3 pull-ups and 3 sets. 6 pull-ups, super easy. Like the highest I'll get to is like an RPE like 2 or 3, right? I was like, I'm gonna do 3 sets of air squats, super easy. I'm not gonna like push to failure. I freaking the next morning wake up, boom, left knee killing me. Like I couldn't even walk like without a limp. And I'm just like, buddy, I can't win. I can't win. So that was like Sunday or Monday, I think. Since it's kind of like the inflammation in my knee, my left knee has like kind of gone down. The left hip still feels kind of wonky, somewhere probably between like a 1.5. So it's higher than its baseline. Knee is a little better. So tomorrow is not going to look graceful. I'm not going to look as good as I did last year. maybe the saving grace is like my buddy that I'm doing it with is like also sick, so we're gonna be like two old sick men like trying to like hobble through this 5K like race through Fenway Park. It's gonna be an absolute disaster, but now I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. So some of the skills or some of the things that I tried to do when I started to experience that is I reframed my point of view. So my point of view prior was, man, I'm killing it. I'm just gonna keep on progressively overloading, get stronger, bigger, awesome. Like I'm gonna gain pain through all the winter, like through the fall into the winter. I'm gonna come to like the spring. I might even gain pain through that, depending on like where my weight and my look is. Like I might do like maybe some mini cuts here and there. Boom, I'm gonna add like maybe like a couple pounds of muscle. Bam, I'm gonna be killing it. And then boom, setback. So what do? I say like, all right, well, what's like the modality of exercise that works best for me? I found that walking. So I just try to keep my steps at that like 10K or just above 10K per day, and not try and overdo it either, because I'm of the mentality, and I kind of have to like constantly reinforce this to myself. Like as much as I want to say that, you know, I'm just like your average Joe, I'm a high functioning individual. Like Antoine and I, we both work for like a Forbes 500 company. We both like kill it every day. Like if you compare us to the median, we're both like relatively fit. We're both like relatively strong, like well above the median. Like we're probably within like the, you know, top 90th percentile of like human beings when it comes. And it's not to say like, oh hey, you know, like pat ourselves on the back. Like that's pretty cool. Some of that is genetics. Some of that is like hard work, and some of that is just like how things shake out. So I'm always trying to drive like better, more, and I couldn't do it because I had, you know, some sort of like an injury or health setback. So I reframed my point of reference, and I worked to like try and find like joy and comfort and like being able to hit those like, you know, daily step goals or whatever it was. Maybe it was just like, hey, I'm just gonna stretch for like 5 minutes today, because I worked a lot and I couldn't get my steps in. Like I didn't feel it, like it hurt. So I would do a type of like movement modality in a time frame that was like feasible, that fit in with my other life goals, that allowed me to receive that type of like psychological benefit that I was using. So the big point that I want to stress to you is like when you experience this, like it's okay to feel upset. It's okay to feel that like you know, you might have like missed the mark or something along those lines. But an important pivot point, I think, is reframing and finding something else that you can do within that. Maybe it's just like, hey, I'm going to try and find out how I can get better. And I'm not going to set a definite time frame, but I'm going to do it. Like I'm going to work on it a little bit every day. You know, I'm not going to overdo it, but I'm going to work on it every day. Like for some individuals, that might be like the only thing that they can do. And by like reframing your mind, as opposed to focus on like, I'm a failure, I can't do this, I can't do that, focus on like what you can do. What do you think about that, buddy?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a good, like you're saying. I think back to like the original point, like, you know, probably, you know, episodes ago, where you're like, you know, it's kind of like the Mike Israel, like, hey, I'm a machine. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going, keep going, keep going. But as humans, as Mother Nature calls it, you know, it's like, hey, we are not all machines all the time, right? You know, there's always that thing where it's like you're trucking along, but you're gonna see where sometimes where it negatively impacts you. And like Roman was saying, you kind of just have to revisit your mindset. You have to reorganize your thoughts, reorganize everything you're doing to keep going along and keep moving along. So Roman, what were kind of, what obviously if you had to do the Spartan race maybe next week or 2 weeks from now, like you're saying, walking is something that you're just trying to do right now. You said you're doing a little bit of pull-ups, air squats, you know, things like that to kind of prepare yourself for tomorrow. But let's just say if you did have 3, 4 more weeks, what would you do differently? Would you, obviously you started doing those things. What would you do from there? Would you just, you know, obviously go right back into your standard training that you're doing this whole time, or would you do something different?
I would definitely do something different. I think like, especially looking back in hindsight, I had one day where I would do like 28 sets. So like I like doing AM PM sessions. I was forced to do AM PM sessions because it was just too much. It'd be like 3 hours. With like the break.
That's some Dr. Mike stuff right there. That's
Yeah.
dedication. You know what? That's like one of those things that I have never tried. I've always wanted to do that, but it's just like, I don't know. Well, every time, like I say, well, I always say like I would like to do that, and then I'll push the envelope by adding an extra day or adding 7 full days to my workouts, and then I get to a point where I just like you're saying, I feel like we kind of do quite a bit during the day. I mean, we're not talking about we're just working and just working out and that's it. No, we're working on houses, we're working on walking, we're working on playing around with, those sports we still enjoy, like Roman was doing pickleball and all that, and biking and walking and running. But like, it's just not the typical day. So that's why I don't know if I would ever try to do something like that, because I feel like it would just push the envelope too much. And I was getting to the point, even like I was saying on that programming one, where I was doing 6 days a week. I felt like I just didn't really want to walk as far. I didn't want to do as much outside of the gym. And I got to the point where it's like, I'm good, but keep going what you're saying.
Yeah, I would definitely, and this was something I was thinking about, like if I had more time, which I don't, it's literally tomorrow. It's gonna be so sad, but it should be fun. My goal is pretty much just don't get more hurt.
And then just finish it, right? That's
yeah.
And finish it, yeah.
Exactly. Like there might be certain things that like if I feel like my groin like flares up, I'll just skip it. That's like I just can't do it right now. But I definitely would. I would change things up. I'd probably just do calisthenics. I would probably start really, really low, like 1-2 sets of maybe like I'd probably do full body, just so I could get like hit a little bit of everything. I'd probably do like air squats and maybe like push-ups on my knees, just something to like get me moving that wouldn't cause me cause the pain in my groin to like increase. Like if it stayed neutral, or like there's certain movements at certain times that actually like dull or like mitigate the pain, then like I would push towards that. But anytime that it jacked up, I would stay away from that. So I was like thinking in my head like, hey, I could do calisthenics, I could do this, I could do that. I just ran out of time.
Yeah, and that's okay too. Like, it is disappointing, right? Like I know deep down, and I'm only assuming, Roman, so please tell me if I'm wrong. But like deep down, Roman's like the same way as me. Like, he's probably really disappointed, really upset. He couldn't give it his all. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, it seems like he's letting down himself and letting down other people because of this, but that's okay too. It's like one of those things where it's like, I think as we get older, and I'm saying this as like I'm an old man, I'm only 29, but like as I'm getting older, right? So I'm going to just say from my experience, as I'm getting older, it becomes less and less of like, of a worry. Like say if Roman, and I was doing the Spartan Race with Roman and I was 100% healthy and Roman told me all this, pretty much I'd be like, cool, sounds good. Do you want me to run it with you, or do you want me to, give it my all and kind of just do my own thing? And I think as adults and you're doing these things, I think you kind of understand, life is not perfect. And, like the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks for me, I couldn't tell you when I was like really, really happy I had a training session. I'm just happy to have a training session right now. I don't want to get too much into it because of the fact that we don't have too much time, but like back to the point where it's like, I know Roman is disappointed and I know he wishes he could do it, but guess what? There's always next time. There's always next year. There's always another race he could do. There's always another competition he could do. And that's I think that's what it's all about. It's like me and I, like recently when I wanted to hit 500 at that powerlift or that deadlift competition, and I only hit 475 or 473. And then we weren't able to go to 500. We had to go to like 505. I attempted it, didn't do it. Yeah, I was disappointed at the time, but it's like one of those things where it's like, I know there's going to be another deadlift competition at that gym. I know I could sign up probably for any basic powerlifting meet, just a deadlift. And, if I really want to get that goal, it's going to happen eventually. It just didn't happen yet. It's like one of those things. And Roman, please tell me if I'm wrong.
No. You're spot on, buddy. And it's like, I think intuitively a lot of us know this, but I think a lot of us will get hung up. So
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay to feel that disappointment, feel like you're letting yourself down or whatnot. Like we can't not feel things, but the important thing is to like, yeah, feel it, like embrace it. Like when you get to that pivot point when you're like, all right, I'm ready to like reframe, then it's like reframe and then like come up with like a workable game plan.
Yeah.
If it is like an injury type situation, then it's like, okay, well, what can you do? Like
Yeah.
let's say like Nick Walker, for example. Nick Walker tore his hamstring before, like a couple weeks out before the Olympia. He
I
was
think it
looking
was.
like an
I think,
absolute.
dude. I think it was like 1 week out too, or two
He was
weeks.
looking.
Yeah.
He was looking like an absolute beast. Like he could have
Yeah.
won it. Like this is something that guy has been like training for like his entire life, right? Like
Yeah.
he like quite literally is a mutant. Like that's his
Yeah.
his nickname in bodybuilding. But he is a mutant. But he essentially like looked at it like with his team and they're like, I can't do it. I gotta pull out. And next year, like knowing him, like, you know, I hope and pray that his health is like, stays intact. As long as it is, boom, he's gonna be there and he's gonna absolutely kill it. But
Yeah.
like it wasn't in the cards for him this year. And that happens and that's okay.
Yeah, and yeah, I really hope he's doing what's healthy for him. And see, the thing is, and like you even listen to people like that who are top professionals, they're on such a higher level. And I'm not saying that Roman and I are not at top level, but like he's here, and like Roman and Antoine are like there, especially in like the bodybuilding world. And someone like that to and obviously he's disappointing a lot of his fans. There's probably a lot of people, because Roman is a big fan of Nick Walker too. I bet Roman would love to see him achieve that goal that he wants to achieve. But see, the thing is, he knows that he can't keep doing that to himself just to hurt himself more and then ruin his chances eventually, right? Back to what I was saying is eventually, right? You could still do it. And there's no stopping anyone, and disappointment's always going to be there. And I think this is a great place to end. If you guys have any challenges, if you need any help with reprogramming or reorganizing your plan when it comes to your health and fitness, your strength, your goals, whatever the case may be, reach out to Roman and I. Please let us help. We would love to help y'all. And then please like, comment, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends. We love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.